The Grand Crest International Hotel stood tall in London's Westminster district, its polished stone exterior catching the morning sun, giving off the illusion of timeless grandeur. Inside, the marble floors gleamed under chandeliers that had seen decades of high society pass beneath them, and today, the air was thick with the scent of freshly delivered orchids. Staff in crisp uniforms moved like clockwork, replacing table linens, polishing silverware, and aligning crystal glasses to exact angles, as though the smallest imperfection could shatter the illusion of luxury. This was no ordinary day. It was the day Kaito Morimoto, the Japanese billionaire whose empire stretched from Tokyo's skyline to Silicon Valley boardrooms, was arriving for an exclusive business deal. Richard Collins, the hotel's ambitious general manager, walked through the lobby with an almost military stride, barking instructions into his earpiece. Every corner, every sound, every scent had to be perfect for Morimoto's visit. But in his pursuit of perfection, Richard had a blind spot. He often dismissed people he didn't see as part of the main show. This morning, that person was Maria Johnson, a young black woman who had just stepped into the hotel lobby to return a piece of jewelry she had found outside the entrance the night before. Maria's presence drew curious eyes. She wasn't dressed for the setting. Her faded denim jacket and neatly pressed trousers carried the quiet dignity of someone who worked hard but lived without extravagance. She clutched a small velvet box in her hand, the kind you'd expect to hold something expensive, even precious. She approached the front desk with a polite smile, ready to explain that she had found it on the sidewalk, near the valet station. But before she could speak, Richard intercepted her. His gaze darted from her shoes to her hair, then to the box in her hand, and his expression hardened. "Can I help you?" he asked in a tone that was less a question and more a warning. Maria explained softly that she had come to return the box, but Richard didn't seem to hear the sincerity in her voice. Instead, suspicion flickered in his eyes. The timing couldn't have been worse. Security was already on high alert for Morimoto's arrival, and Richard's mind leapt to conclusions that had nothing to do with reality. "I'm going to have to ask you to stay right here," Richard said, holding up a hand like a traffic officer. Without waiting for her response, he tapped his earpiece and called for hotel security. Maria's eyebrows knit in confusion, her calm demeanor faltering slightly. "I'm here to return this," she began, but before she could finish, two uniformed security guards appeared at Richard's side. Guests in the lobby slowed their steps, sensing that something was unfolding. The guards positioned themselves in a way that subtly boxed her in, and Richard whispered something to one of them. Maria's stomach tightened. She could feel the silent judgment radiating from the onlookers, a mix of curiosity and unspoken prejudice. "Sir, with respect, I think you've misunderstood," she tried again, but her voice was drowned out by Richard ordering one of the guards to call the police. The tension in the air was palpable. Within minutes, two Metropolitan Police officers stepped into the lobby, their presence slicing through the hum of hotel activity. Richard moved quickly to meet them, gesturing toward Maria as though presenting evidence. "That's her," he said. "She was acting suspiciously near the valet, and now she's here with a jewelry box that I believe was taken from a guest." Maria's jaw dropped. "Taken? I found this outside your hotel last night on my way home from work." Her voice carried enough conviction to turn a few heads, but Richard stood his ground. The taller officer stepped forward, asking Maria for identification. She handed it over calmly, explaining again how she had stumbled upon the box and thought it best to return it in person. The officers exchanged glances. Nothing in her demeanor matched Richard's accusations. Still, protocol dictated they investigate further. As the officers examined the box, one of them carefully opened it. Inside lay a diamond bracelet, its stones catching the lobby light in a dazzling display. The sight drew murmurs from nearby guests, some pulling out phones, others whispering assumptions under their breath. Richard seized the moment, telling the officers that a VIP guest had reported a missing piece of jewelry that very morning. Maria's heart pounded, not out of guilt, but out of the sharp injustice of the situation. She could feel the weight of the room's stairs pressing against her. "Sir," she said firmly, addressing Richard, "you don't know me, but you've already decided what I am capable of. I came here to do the right thing, and this is how you respond." Her voice was steady, but there was steel beneath it. Before the officers could respond, a ripple of movement swept through the lobby. Heads turned toward the main entrance where a small entourage was stepping in. At the center was Kaito Morimoto himself, dressed in a tailored charcoal suit, his presence commanding without arrogance. Richard's posture straightened instantly. The deal he had been obsessing over had just walked through the door. But Morimoto's sharp eyes didn't immediately seek out Richard. They locked onto the scene unfolding near the front desk. He observed the tense standoff for a moment, then approached with the measured steps of a man who rarely wasted them. "What's happening here?" he asked in a calm, accented English that carried authority. Richard, eager to control the narrative, launched into his version of events, painting Maria as a suspicious outsider caught with stolen property. Morimoto listened without interruption, his expression unreadable. Then he turned to Maria. "And your story?" he asked. Maria met his gaze and explained everything. How she had found the box, how she had returned today hoping to ensure it reached its rightful owner, and how she was met with hostility the moment she entered. She spoke with clarity, not pleading for belief, but offering the truth as it was. Morimoto glanced at the officers, then at the bracelet, and finally at Maria. Something in her composure seemed to register with him. Then came the twist no one in the room saw coming. Morimoto smiled faintly and reached into his breast pocket, pulling out a business card. "That bracelet," he said, "is mine. A gift for my daughter, dropped last night when I stepped out of the car." The revelation froze Richard in place, his color draining as the full weight of his mistake bore down on him. Morimoto continued, "You were returning it to me, yes?" Maria nodded. The billionaire handed the card to her. "I could use more people with your integrity in my organization," he said simply. "Would you consider joining us?" The offer landed like a lightning strike in the quieted lobby. The officers, satisfied there was no crime, handed Maria back her ID and the bracelet to Morimoto. Richard tried to stammer an apology, but Morimoto cut him off with a single raised hand. "The problem here is not the lost bracelet," he said evenly. "It is how quickly you were willing to judge without evidence. That is not the kind of hospitality I invest in." Guests watched as Richard's shoulders slumped, his once commanding presence reduced to a silent figure on the sidelines. Maria, still processing the surreal turn of events, thanked Morimoto for his kindness. In the days that followed, the story made its way through both the hotel industry and London's social circles. Some told it as a cautionary tale about prejudice in plain sight. Others focused on the serendipity of an honest act being rewarded beyond expectation. Maria did accept Morimoto's offer, starting a new chapter of her life working in his London offices, where her attention to detail and quiet strength quickly earned her respect. As for Richard, the deal he had pinned his future on dissolved quietly, and the Grand Crest found itself searching for a new general manager. The chandelier still gleamed, the marble floors still shone, but the air in the lobby carried a different weight, a reminder that sometimes the most valuable thing in a room isn't money or power, but the integrity of the person standing quietly in the corner, doing the right thing when no one is watching. If dislike this story, please tell in comments box, and if you like this, please like, subscribe and share with friends. Thanks.